GURPS vehicles. There is so much baggage in these two words. The GURPS vehicles book for the 3rd edition managed to give GURPS a bad reputation that somehow managed to carry over to the 4th edition. I have read GURPS vehicles and even created some vehicles using it, and I have to say that if you have an Excel spreadsheet to help you, it's definitely not as bad as memes are trying to make you believe. I actually think that it's a very good book. But that's an older edition of GURPS, and you probably all know that GURPS vehicles for the 4th edition will never see the light, even though SJ Games have a completed manuscript on their hands. Oh well. But I digress. I would like to record a series of videos that explains everything related to vehicles in GURPS. While usually I limit my content to things that are relevant to your classic D&D style games, this time I'm also going to cover higher technological levels. But even in low-tech worlds, vehicles can be important. There are carriages, carts, ships, boats and all that. You just have to remember that even if you have vehicles present in your game, the stats and rules do not matter at all if the vehicle is just a means to go from one place to another. However, if your players or NPCs would like to actively interact with the vehicles, or even base their characters around them, then you might want to familiarize yourself with the vehicle rules. In the first video in this series, I would like to talk about the basics, vehicle statistics and skills. They can be confusing. The Vehicles chapter starts on page 462 of GURPS Basic Set, and it's not short. GURPS Basic Set might call itself basic, but the vehicle rules there are much more extensive than any vehicle rules that I have seen in other systems. Let's take a look at one of the vehicle stat lines and see what each number means. As an example, let's use the chariot. The first parameter is strength and HP. Strength and HP of a powered vehicle are equal, but for an unpowered vehicle, these are marked with a dagger. This parameter only represents HP. ST is 0. As you can see, the chariot is an unpowered vehicle with HP 22 and strength of 0. Usually, unpowered vehicles have injury tolerance homogeneous, and powered vehicles have injury tolerance unliving. The chariot is homogeneous. This is the first attribute, but also one where problems can arise. If you are using the basic rules, large vehicles are very easy to destroy. Naval battles between large ships will usually end in a single turn. A character with a machine gun would be able to take down planes easily. Fortunately, there is the extreme damage article from Pyramid 334 that suggests two ways of fixing it. The first way is introducing a new table that would decrease injury from piercing and impaling attacks against large, unliving and homogeneous targets. And the second way is altering the formula that is used to calculate HP for vehicles. You have to pick one or the other, but any of these two approaches will greatly increase the durability of large vehicles. Moving on, we have a double attribute, handling and stability rating. Why have they been coupled together? Because both of them are related to control rolls. This is something I will explain in another video, but if I had to summarize, handling is added to your vehicle operation skill in hazardous situations, and stability rating measures how badly you have to fail your control roll to turn a minor problem into a major problem. So the higher both of them are, the better. The chariot in this example has handling 0 and stability rating 2. HT is more or less self-explanatory. It's the vehicle's health attribute. Some vehicles are fragile. C means combustible, F means flammable, and X means explosive. The chariot has health 11 and is combustible. Then we have the move attribute. The first number is acceleration, and the second is top speed in yards per second. You can double this value to get miles per hour. An asterisk indicates a road-bound vehicle, while a double dagger indicates a vehicle that must follow rails. Spacecraft sometimes have C listed at their top speed, indicating the speed of light. To get acceleration in G's, divide acceleration by 10. Our chariot has acceleration of 4 and top speed of 9 and is road-bound. Thus, it takes 3 seconds to reach the top speed. What does road-bound even mean? This is described in Enhanced Move Advantage description. You can accelerate past your acceleration rating only on smooth, flat surfaces. In all other situations, your top speed will be equal to your acceleration. It will come up again when I will discuss vehicular overland movement. LWT is loaded weight in tons, with maximum payload and full load of fuel. 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. Our chariot has a loaded weight of 0.29 tons. Load is the weight in tons of occupants and cargo the vehicle can carry, including the operator. A typical human occupant is usually treated as 0.1 ton, including the gear. So if you subtract 0.1 ton per occupant, you will find the vehicle's cargo capacity. Our chariot has a load of 0.2 tons. Since it has only one operator and one occupant, it basically has no cargo capacity. SM is the vehicle's size modifier. This should be self-explanatory to you. OC is the number of occupants, given as crew plus passengers. For example, our chariot has one crew member and one occupant. Additional codes can be shown in this column. A indicates a vehicle built for long-term accommodation, with room to sleep, cook, etc. S means sealed. P means pressure support. V means vacuum support. DR is the vehicle's DR. Some vehicles have different DR on various sites or locations. The table usually lists the two most important DR scores, the front DR and the average of side and rear DR. For more detailed information, consult the vehicle's description. Our chariot has DR1. Range is the travel distance in miles before the vehicle runs out of fuel. Some exotic or unpowered vehicles might have a dash. That means that only provisions, that is food and water, limit range. F means FP of the rowers or draft animals, and stored provisions limit range. Spacecraft either omit this statistic or use it to indicate their FTL drive capabilities. Our chariot has fatigue-based range. I will explain how fatigue points of draft animals are depleted in another video. Cost is the vehicle's cost, obviously. Locations is a list of the vehicle's hit locations. Sometimes there are multiple hit locations of the same type. In such cases, a number is present before the code. There is a vehicle hit location table on page 554 of GURPS basic set, and the abbreviations of hit locations can be seen on the screen right now. Our chariot has 2 draft animals, an exposed rider, and 2 wheels. The notes contain any additional information. In our case, the 1 in brackets for the chariot says that the draft animals are horses. Water vehicles have an additional statistic, draft, the minimum depth of water in feet it can safely operate in. Air vehicles also have an additional statistic, stall, the minimum speed in yards per second it must maintain to take off and stay airborne. Stall 0 means that it can hover. Submarines also have an additional statistic, crash. This attribute was introduced in GURPS vehicles steampunk conveyances and indicates crash depth in yards. That's it for the vehicle statistics, but let's also take a look at the skills. Armory, vehicle armor, can be used to make vehicle armor. Bicycling lets you ride a bicycle. Unpowered bicycles are not considered to be vehicles, but electric bikes are proper vehicles, as can be seen in GURPS High-Tech. Boating is a skill of handling a small watercraft. GURPS Basic Set has 4 specialties: large powerboat, motorboat, sailboat, and unpowered. GURPS Space adds another specialty, hydrofoil. Crewman is an entire skill category that represents the ability to serve as crew aboard a specific type of large vehicle. There are 4 specialties in GURPS basic set: Airshipman, Seamanship, Spacer, and Submariner. GURPS Vehicles Transports of Fantasy adds a new specialty, Flying Sailor. GURPS Low-Tech adds another new specialty, Oarsman. Driving encompasses most of the land vehicles. GURPS Basic Set has the following specialties: Automobile, Construction Equipment, Half-Track, Heavy-Wheeled, Hovercraft, Locomotive, Mecha, Motorcycle, and Tracked. GURPS Fantasy Tech 1, The Edge of Reality, introduces a new specialty, Land Sailor, but does not provide any defaults. I treat them as boating, sailboat -3, and other driving at -5. Engineer has the vehicle type specialization that lets you design new vehicles of that type. Lifting is said to be a vehicle skill in GURPS Fantasy that is used to lift and carry palanquins, but GURPS Low-Tech says that hiking should be used instead. Mechanic has the vehicle type specialty that is used to repair vehicles. Piloting is a skill that covers aircraft and spacecraft. GURPS Basic Set has very many specialties: Aerospace, Autogyro, Contragravity, Flight Pack, Glider, Heavy Airplane, Helicopter, High Performance Airplane, High Performance Spacecraft, Light Airplane, Lighter than Air, Low G Wings, Low Performance Spacecraft, Ultralight, and VERTOL. GURPS Vehicles Transports of Fantasy adds new specialties: Bird Drone Airboat and Sailing Airboat. GURPS Vehicles Steampunk Conveyances adds a new specialty, Ornithopter. GURPS Fantasy Tech 1, The Edge of Reality, adds a new specialty, Vimana, but does not provide any defaults. I treat them as Contragravity -2, VERTOL -3, or other piloting at -5. Scuba can be used to operate diver propulsion devices from GURPS High-Tech and GURPS Ultra-Tech. Ship handling represents the ability to be a master of a large vehicle. GURPS Basic Set had the following specialties: Airship, Ship, Spaceship, Starship, and Submarine. GURPS Vehicles Transport of Fantasy adds a new specialty, Flying Ship. Sports can be used to operate some vehicles. For example, GURPS High-Tech has a wind surfboard that is operated with sports sailboarding. Submarine covers underwater vehicles. GURPS Basic Set has the following specialties: Free Floating Sub, Large Sub, and Mini Sub. GURPS Low-Tech adds a new specialty, Unpowered. Teamster is the skill of driving a team of animals, pulling a wagon, chariot, or a carriage. You must specialize by animal type. This is the most common land vehicle skill in low-tech games. Finally, GURPS Underground Adventures has a new vehicle type, Subterranes, but does not say what skill you should use. You probably should make another driving specialty for them. And that's it for this video. As you can see, vehicle statistics aren't really that difficult, but there are some problems that can arise with HP. Skills are all over the place, and some skills do not even look like vehicle skills, but can be used to operate some rare vehicles. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.